Hey everyone. So the last video that I did was installing a unified Dream Machine Pro into my network to replace the router that comes with my broadband connection. The next thing I'm installing into the network is a Proxmox server, which I've used before and will allow me to virtualize certain functions and systems and software and services that I don't want to have either a dedicated machine for, or I don't want to run on my Unraid server. And basically, Proxmox is great for this. Now, I am by no means an expert on it. If you want a lot of useful information, I would go and look at the likes of Craft Computing, Level 1 Techs, and places like that. They have a lot of information, a lot of experience using this sort of stuff, and they will be able to give you better information at the moment than I can. I'm just starting out learning this, and I'm falling back on those guys for information all the time. So it's worth going looking at them. I'll try and leave a link in the description below to them so you can go and check them out. But Proxmox basically can be run on almost any computer laptop. You just need to make sure that you meet the minimum requirements for it. And then what you can do is you can you can virtualize different services and stuff that you want on your home network. So the first two right off the bat that I'm going to be doing is a network-wide ad blocking service called Pihole, and then the second one is a image hosting service for the family photos and everything, because I've got nearly 1,000 photos that I need to scan in of older family members and stuff that we found when we cleared out my granddad's possessions from his house. There is tons of photos there. So I'm going to be scanning them in and hosting them on a service called Immich so that other family members can access them. And that way they're not getting used for training AI models and all the rest of it that Facebook does with your photos. So let's get on with it. So we'll just hit enter on that and we'll start the installer running. So what I'd recommend for Proxmox is if you can get your hands on an old Office PC, a Dell, a HP, a Lenovo, something like that, put two SSDs in there. They can be anything from 128 gig up to whatever size you want. I've got two 1 terabyte SSDs that I'm using in this one, and during the install process, it's probably going to give me a warning that it's detected an install already on there and stuff. I need to restart it, and that's fine. But two SSDs so that you can run them in a RAID 1, so that should one drive fail, you've got another one there that's going to automatically be the backup drive. And then whatever storage you want, be it inside the machine or on a network storage solution. So we get into the installer and we get the end user license agreement, read through it. I'm sure you will. But basically, it just says that they're not responsible for any hardware failures, any data loss, and stuff like that. So if you agree with it, click the I agree. If you don't, look at something different. Then you get to the part where you're going to choose where you want to install Proxmox to. So click the little options button, and then you can choose what file system you want. So I'm going to go ZFS RAID 1. You can do ButterFS RAID 1, RAID 10, stuff like that, dependent on how many drives you've got. But for me, I'm going to go ZFS RAID 1. So then it's going to give me all the drives that it's detected in the machine, and I don't want all of them. So I'm going to choose the two that I do want. which is the 2 Kioxia SSDs. And then these 4, I'm just going to select do not use because I don't want them to be used. These are going to be used for storage in the actual server for photos and other bits that I end up running on this server. So once you've chosen that, click next. Then you get to choose your time zone, your keyboard layout, and your country. Set them to how you want. Then you get your password. So make sure it's something that you can remember. Make sure it's not double typing letters on your keyboard and all the rest of it. I'd have had a nightmare this morning with letters double typing. Then you need your email address. Then you're going to need a host name. Now this you can do sort of pve.local. You can do, I think it was pve.acme.com or something like that. That I'll put a link to an options thing in a Reddit thread in the description below so that you can see what some people are recommending. Me, I've got a domain, so I'm just going to put it in here. Then you get to choose what interface you want for your management. So the website that you're going to be accessing this on your local network. So this server's got 5 network ports in it. 4 of them are 1 gig, and then I've got a 10 gig one. I'm just going to use the 10 gig one because these 1 gigs are going to be allocated to different containers, different virtual machines and stuff like that within the server. So I want them separate. Then you can put your IP address. Now, if you're going to do a Proxmox server, I recommend you giving it a static IP. That's what I've done. Then you put your gateway, your DNS server, and then you can go from there. Then you can make sure that you've got all the information correct that you want it to be, and automatically reboot after successful install. If you don't want it to automatically reboot, untick that. I'm not too fussed, so I'm just going to leave it ticked. Then you click install, and it'll start the install. Now, if you've already had a Proxmox install on the server before, using the same drives and stuff, it might come up with an error here, saying that basically it's detected a former R pool or a previous R pool. So it'll then ask you to basically confirm that you want to go ahead. In this instance, it's not asked me for it, but it normally would, as far as I'm aware, ask you. Okay, so we're right at the end of the install now. Just a little bit left to do, and then we can get logged into the web interface for the Proxmox server. So there we go. So it tells us where we can connect to the server. And what it's going to do now is just reboot. So I'm just going to unplug the pen drive. There we go. Now we just let the server boot up. Right, there we go. The server's now booted up, so it's telling us again there that we can go to that web address, that IP address and port to be able to log into the server. I've got a bug present that's going to cause a possible data leak, and there's a bit of information there on what I can do to mitigate it. So I'll deal with that at a later date. So what we do is we go into our web browser, we put in the web address that it gave us, and depending on what browser you're on, depends on whether you're going to get the security issue that it comes up with. There is a way to fix it, but at the moment I've not done it. So all we do is click advanced, and because we know that it's fine to connect to this, we can just proceed to the address. So then you get a login box. So your username is going to be root, and then whatever password you put in. You can save the username or you can leave it to not be saved. I'm not fussed either way, so I just click login. You then, every time you log into it, you're going to get this message. There is ways of getting rid of it, but every time I've tried it, it's been buggy, so I just leave it and click OK every time. This basically is a subscription for support with your server, and it can be a bit pricey. If you don't need the support, don't pay for it. If you do need it, then pay for it. But I'm not going to pay €240 per year for support. I'm capable of looking for a solution and trying to fix it myself. If I break the server, I break the server. You learn from your mistakes. But Proxmox team, if you want the support from them, I will mute that as much as possible, but that was a helicopter going overhead. Yeah, if you want the support from them, they will give you that support, and it will cost you €120 per year per socket if you're at home, and then it goes up from there. So just click OK. So then we get into the main screen, the main part where you can start playing around with this software. So I am no expert. Craft Computing on YouTube, Wendell at Level 1 Techs, there's Jeff Gerling and a few others who have a lot more knowledge than I have on this, and I will link them in the description below for somewhere that you can go and watch and learn about this. So essentially, on the left-hand side, you've got your, in quotes, data center. So this is your machines that you're going to have in here. Inside the PVE, you will have a drop down, and as you add virtual machines, they will appear in the list here. Then you've got a tasks sort of display at the bottom, so this will tell you everything that's going on with the server, what commands you've run and stuff like that, so you can keep an eye on it. Then you get the hardware information and just general options for the actual server itself here, the software, so you can do updates and stuff like that. You get the list of virtual machines and services here. Then over on the right, you've got your documentation. You create virtual machines, you create containers, your login and all the rest of it there. Bulk actions. So if you've got a lot of services running on here, you can bulk start them, bulk shut down, or suspend them. And then you've got the help bit there. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I've got some commands here that I've grabbed off the internet. So the apt update and distro upgrade, I'm going to copy that, paste, and just paste this in just to make sure that everything's up to date. So it's going to go away and basically look for everything, but because the distribution one doesn't seem to be working, I'll take that off and I'll just do the apt update. The distribution one's not working because we don't have the support payment setting enabled and stuff. So we basically can't do that via that way. So we just do the update. And that's not working either, but it did earlier. That has worked that way for me in the past, but now it doesn't seem to want to work. Different wording by the looks of it. Yeah, update, and it should be upgrade. So, as I say, you learn these things as you're going along. So we just let this update or upgrade. And then let's try this one. So that's not needed. So the distro upgrade's not needed, but there was a few little bits of that there that was needed. So that's fine. So now I know this is up to date. I can now go to this place and I can start looking at basically getting the different services installed that I want to use. So I'll leave a link to this down in the description as well. But for now, I'm going to go away and just sort a few things out and then get started on installing Pihole and a few other bits onto this server. I'll see you in the next video.